Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or hey if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. For today's video, I'm going to be doing the official bookshelf tour, the official reading corner tour that no one asked for. But I'm going to give it to you anyway because I feel like I've finally perfected it to how I actually want my bookcase to look and how I want my book corner to look, and I'm really happy with the little appearance I've got going on, and I feel like it's the coziest space in my room, and it just definitely all ties in together. I really like the colour scheme we've got going. I love my chair. Yeah, everything about it I love. So I thought today I would run you through my bookshelf. We're going to be giving the ins and outs, where everything's from, the layout that I've got going, the aesthetic, that kind of thing, where my chair's from, and just overall touring it up, because I don't think that there is a bookshelf tour on my channel, like an official video. There's definitely not an official video. It's definitely appeared in other videos like vlogs and stuff where I've like taken you through it, but not officially and not as it's in its completed state. At the start of my book reading journey, like 2-3 years ago, I literally had I had my TV unit, and then there was a shelf on top of that, and in that shelf that was literally just the one shelf I had to keep my books, and they were like stacked like that and then stacked on top of the books. It was crammed. It was like a little crammed shelf, and I had just all the books that I had started to read on there. So that is such a throwback to think that we went from that one single shelf a couple of years ago to having like a completed bookcase that I love so much. I don't have the space in my room at the moment to have multiple bookcases and, you know, a whole library wall. That is definitely the end goal, but I am in no means at that stage yet. I genuinely would not even have the space for it in my room, to be honest. I absolutely love the appearance of like the big walls of just bookcases filled with books. I think that it looks beautiful and just so cozy, and that is definitely my dream. But at the moment, for the size of my room and the layout of my room, it is only possible for me to have one bookcase, which is still more than enough for me, and I'm still like so grateful for this big bookcase filled with books because that is my dream. I love collecting books. I'm definitely a firm believer in reading books and buying books are two completely different hobbies. I definitely love to buy a book. Listen, if I'm going in a bookstore, I'm probably going to walk out with a book. That's just who I am. That is what is ingrained in my brain. I might not read that book for a few months or even a year, but it will definitely be getting bought because I just love having the physical copies of my books. I think that's why I'm not like a huge Kindle girly. I will only read, like I prefer to have the trophy as well as the Kindle read. So sometimes if I like choose a book on my Kindle that I don't own physically, and then yeah, I'm gonna have to buy the trophy, so it just kind of like cost effectiveness is not really a thing in my brain. Hopefully I can find a picture of my old bookshelf to pop on the screen, and I also want to pop on the screen my dream library and like a few of the pictures of my dream library right now, because I think in my future home, if I could have if it was like no budget, I could have anything I wanted, I would probably go for like a dark green library theme, like maybe just like dark tones that are super cozy, and there's lots of trinkets, and there's like a big rug and a massive comfy reading chair and like a ladder attached to the bookcase. Essentially the end goal for me is to have a full wall filled with bookshelves, like the whole way through. That is the goal. But yeah, I do really like darker tones, which kind of contrasts with my entire room now. My room is white, so it's definitely a lot brighter and lighter, but if I were to have a whole room just for books and to make it a library room, I would definitely choose more darker tones. I'm gonna shut up now because I feel like this is the longest intro ever and I've just been yapping on. I could honestly talk about books forever, okay? Sue me, that's why I have this channel. So without further ado, let's get into today's video and talk you through my reading setup. First things first, I'm just going to give you an overview of the actual space. So this is like the entire reading corner that I've got going. It's not the biggest, but you know what, I'm so grateful for it, and it's so, I feel like it's just beautiful. I just really like how everything's tied in together. I did actually get my room renovated at the start of last year, so it's all been quite new to me. Like I said before, I literally just had one shelf. I'll just do a close-up of the actual entirety. And then we also have my TBR there. Over here I do also have this sort of shelf for extra overflow. So as you can see, we've got the Harry Potter series and also the Game of Thrones books. So first off, on my windowsill, just to sort of add a little cozy touch, we have these two trinkets. So this thing right here is a incense burner, and it's like one of the waterfall ones. So essentially you would pop your incense there or there, and then the smoke trickles down like a waterfall here, and I just think that's really cute and cool. I think this is from Amazon or Etsy, but I do think it's Amazon, and I think if you just search in waterfall incense burner, that will come straight up. Next, my rock salt lamp, is that what it's called? This is also from Amazon. If you just search salt lamp, it will come up. There's so many different variations of these lamps. They are genuinely the coziest lamps you can buy. Obviously it is the daylight right now, so you can't really tell, but I just think that adds such a cozy touch, and I also think it reminds me of a dragon egg. Interestingly enough, like, it kind of gives off a fantasy sort of vibe, which I really like. Down here, this rug is from IKEA, and it is just a really simple white rug, but I feel like it just adds sort of like a cozy, homey touch, which we love. I will just run through this little section. So this tapestry wall hanging is from Urban Outfitters. It is just really cute and pretty. I love like a bohemian sort of vibe. It definitely gives me a very cozy, homey feel. And this lamp is also from IKEA. So essentially you buy this gold lamp which has a stand that looks like that, and then you buy this separate, so you can choose what lamp head fixture you select. I personally wanted like an open bulb sort of rustic vibe one, and when this is turned on, it looks just super cozy, and I really like how it lets off an orange light. I definitely didn't want like a bright white light. I just find this way more soothing on the eyes as well when you're reading. And over here I do keep my TBR. So we have this painting which I did myself just for a bit of fun, and I ended up really liking the finished product. I got my inspiration from Etsy, and I just feel like it adds a little bit of colour to this area, a nice little bit of, you know, something something. This plant is from Home Bargains, I believe. You can always find cute little plants in Home Bargains, and I really like how this one hangs because it kind of just, again, adds the colour to this area, which I definitely feel like it needs, because when it looks blank I just don't find it as cozy. And then this is the TBR stack. I could like put these in my cart that I do my TBR videos in, but I actually just really like the appearance of them all stacked up. I think it looks like such a classic bookish nook, bookish corner, and I think, you know, it's a great little stand. Sometimes I put my coaster on there, and when I'm sat in my chair I put my drink there, and it's just quite convenient actually. And then this is my reader chair. So I got this from Amazon. It was super easy to put together, and I really like it. I think that this chair was about £60 or £70. I will try find the link and pop it in the description box, but there is so many different variations of this chair. I think I searched teddy chair because the actual fabric of it is like a teddy sort of material. For me, it just had to be gold fixtures and gold, you know, additions like the lamp. I think they really go together, and I just feel like there's something about gold that gives me a very cozy vibe. And then I have these two cushions. I just wanted like a neutral vibe cushion because, you know, we've got a lot of colour from the plant and the print and the TBR, and then we've just got like neutral tapestry, so I kind of wanted just neutral cushions. So these two are both from B&M, I believe. We've just got like a gold cushion, very simple, and then this sort of like furry teddy material cushion, which also really goes with the chair as well. And then we have the bookcase itself. So this bookcase is from IKEA. I got the Billy bookcase, and then I got the door attachment. So you actually buy the door attachments and the bookcase separately, I think. You can also mix and match what you want. You could have black bookcase with white doors, you could have the oak bookcase with the white doors, you could have like any sort of formula of bookcase that you wanted. The black bookcase with the oak doors looked really cool as well, but I went for white with the oak doors. I just feel like I really like the touch it gives, and I also think it kind of looks quite expensive with this door fixture on it, so I really do enjoy this. And I also think that having the doors on it has really saved me with dust, because I never get dust on my shelves at all, which is really, really handy. So now I am gonna run through the actual shelves themselves, but this is me and my favourite corner of my room. This is me and my safe space. So I'm gonna run through all of the shelves now. Up top we have my small town romance section, following into my Ali Hazelwood shrine. So here we have Elsie Silver. This is the Elsie Silver stack. I've stacked them this way because they fit a lot better. As you can see, this shelf is like taller than the others, so it just kind of fits, and I think that all the colours go really, really nicely as well. So we've got that up there, and then we have more small town romance. We've got Lila Sage and Rebel Blue Ranch and the Silver Pines series, which are actually the wrong way around. I need to change them. And then we have Lucy Score, followed into Abby Jimenez, and All Roads Lead Here, because I feel like that is a small town romance. And then we go into Ali Hazelwood, which I think go really nicely on this shelf because of the colours, and I do have a lot of Ali Hazelwood at this point. I think there's 7 books up there. So that is the top shelf. I really like how that one looks. I think that is probably one of my favourite shelves that we've got. Going into the second shelf, we have our Addicted / Calloway Sisters series. We have my TBR jar, which I do also keep my bookmarks in. And then we kind of just go into miscellaneous romance books, contemporary romance and dark romance at the end. So we've got The Seven Sisters, Mile High, Behind the Net, and then a few other miscellaneous romance books. Then we have our Page Tune section, and Elle Kennedy, Hannah Burnham Young, we have the Icebreaker series, and then we have 2 sort of random dark romances. I don't have the sequels in those series, so they're just kind of perched on the end because I don't have anywhere else to put them. And then we have our third shelf, which is another tall one. So we kind of go from like some are smaller, some are taller, but this one is like a tall one. So we've got some hardbacks, we've got the Magnolia Parks series, which looks so nice, and I feel like the Magnolia Parks series colour scheme goes really well with the Boys of Torment's colour scheme, so that kind of flows really nicely. And then we have hardbacks again, so we've got Taylor Jenkins Reid, The Favourites, and my Emily Henry hardbacks. I feel like this shelf goes the best colour scheme wise, and it's also a great way to like put big series together, and then hardbacks sort of just follow on from that. Then we have this shelf, which is probably my most random shelf that I've got. So we've first got 2 memoir type books, and then we also have a random Tia Williams book, just because it's a hardback and it goes with those ones. And then we've got some random, very random books here. We've got like a literary fiction, we've got another memoir, we've got Women Don't Know You Pretty, and then Tuesdays with Maury, which is a non-fiction. I don't really have too much non-fiction, so you kind of just have to slot them in where they fit. And then we have this random plant, which is probably from like Home Bargains. And here is more sort of very random books, but I do feel like the colours go. So we've got like literary fiction, non-fiction, and then we have Kristen Hannah. I do like to keep authors together when I can, so we've got Kristen Hannah there, and then this bit stacked upwards is my classics section. So we've got my Jane Austen set, which is really, really pretty, followed by just random classics, and I feel like the colours all go very nicely together. Then we go into more of my fantasy books. So at the bottom we have bigger fantasy books that just stack a little bit taller, followed into the Powerless series, and then we've got the Belladonna series, Cruel Prince, and then we have some random Greek mythology that just kind of slots in there nicely. It doesn't really go with the genre, but I feel like it looks fine. Then we have the ACOTAR series and my Throne of Glass series, missing Assassin's Blade because my boyfriend is currently reading that one. Then down at the bottom we've just got random horror, thriller, Stephen King, just like mystery books that just all go together. I feel like mystery books and thrillers tend to not have the most, you know, cute covers, hence why they're all at the bottom. And then I have my Mortal Instruments series because they have to be together and their spines all match up really nicely as well. And we have some hardbacks at the end, so Quicksilver, the Crimson Moth duology, and the Fourth Wing series, minus Fourth Wing because that is currently being used as a stand. I feel very out of breath now, but that is the very quick fire rundown of the shelves. So I'm going to do a quick zoom in now, and that is the shelves essentially. So this is a more close-up look at what we've got going on. My stomach is rumbling. I really hope you can't hear that on the speaker. This is shelf number 2. I also quite like to try keep genres together. I know that there's some exceptions at some points, but I do like to try keep genres together. This bit is like honestly so satisfying to my brain. And then we've got classics, Kristen Hannah. This bit is very, very random, I will say, but luckily the colours all kind of go. And then towards the bottom we've got fantasy. I will also say I don't really know what I'm going to do when I have more completed series, and like, you know, these ones aren't complete, these ones aren't complete. I'm genuinely not going to have room. I'm thinking of buying some floating shelves for some of my walls. And that is the finished tour of my current bookish area. I feel like the lighting has been very dark today. I'm not really too sure why, because it is literally like 11 AM. So the clouds are really out to play. That's not ideal, but I hope that you could see everything clearly. I really, really like what I've got going on at the moment. I'll maybe do an updated tour if I get more shelves in the future, who knows, hopefully. Thank you so much for watching today's quickfire book tour. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye guys.